There's a moment in life when you look at someone you care about and realize you've caused them pain, the kind you can't take back with a simple, "I'm sorry." It hits differently when the person you hurt is someone who stood beside you when you were at your lowest, someone who saw your cracks and still believed you could be more. A good woman doesn't just love, she invests, she heals. She builds a world around you quietly, patiently, tenderly. And when a man hurts a woman like that, something shifts, not just in her, but in him, in both of them, and in everything that surrounds them. Today, I want to talk about what really happens emotionally, spiritually, psychologically when a man hurts a good woman. Not to shame anyone, but to open eyes, to remind some men of what they're risking, and to remind some women of what they're worth. There comes a moment in a woman's life when the silence inside her becomes louder than all the noise around her. When she's given every chance, every excuse, every ounce of patience she had, and suddenly something inside shifts. It's not anger. It's not revenge. It's clarity. The kind that arrives softly, like dawn breaking after a long night, revealing everything she didn't want to see but needed to fade. That's the moment a good woman begins to learn how to love herself again, without the man who hurt her. It doesn't happen all at once. It's not a dramatic exit or a sudden awakening. It's slow, almost invisible, like the way a flower turns toward the sun without ever making a sound. She starts by noticing the things she stopped doing for herself, the laughter she hasn't heard in her own voice, the dreams she set aside because she thought loving someone meant shrinking herself just to make space for them. She starts remembering the girl she once was, the one with light in her eyes, the one who believed she deserved to be seen, heard, chosen. And somewhere in that remembering, she realizes she has been living on emotional leftovers while offering him a feast. For years, she kept telling herself it was enough, that love was supposed to be hard, that if she just held on a little longer, he'd finally see her, finally value her, finally meet her halfway. She carried that hope like a fragile glass heart, even when he kept dropping it. But hearts can only break so many times before they start rebuilding themselves in ways that no longer include the person who shattered them. I've seen this happen in real life more times than I can count. A friend once told me she didn't leave because she stopped loving him. She left because she finally remembered she loved herself too. She had spent years pouring into someone who only took. She gave him loyalty he didn't return, comfort he didn't appreciate, support he didn't acknowledge. She kept choosing him, even when he didn't choose her. And when she left, it wasn't dramatic, it was quiet, peaceful, like she was finally exhaling after holding her breath for too long. The world often underestimates the strength of a good woman. They think her forgiveness means weakness, her patience means dependence, her kindness means she will never walk away. But the truth is, every forgiving woman has a final forgiveness. Every patient woman has a breaking point. Every kind woman has boundaries that once crossed transform her completely. And when she reaches that point, she doesn't explode. She simply evolves. The first thing she learns is how to sit with herself again. It's not easy. Silence can be cruel when you've spent years drowning it out with someone else's chaos. But in that silence, she starts hearing the truth she once ignored, the truth that she bent so much she nearly broke, the truth that she showed up every day for someone who only showed up when it was convenient, the truth that she deserved more, not because she wanted more, but because she gave. Slowly, she begins tending to the pieces of her heart that she abandoned while trying to keep the relationship alive. She starts doing little things, things he never noticed, things he didn't care about, things she stopped doing because she was tired of feeling invisible. Maybe she goes back to reading the books she loved. Maybe she starts walking in the mornings just to feel the world waking up with her. Maybe she changes her hair, her room, her routine, not for anyone else, for herself, to feel her own pulse again. There's a shift in her energy, a rise in her spirit. People around her notice it before she does. They see light returning to her eyes, confidence settling back into her shoulders. It's like watching someone reclaim a part of themselves they thought was lost forever. And it's powerful because she realizes she doesn't need permission to be whole. But healing is never a straight line. Some days she feels strong, unshakable, ready to embrace the future. Other days she feels the familiar ache of memories, moments that were once sweet, promises that were once full of hope. She wonders if she made the right decision. She questions if she was too harsh, too emotional, too much. But then she remembers the night she cried quietly so he wouldn't hear. The days she begged for the bare minimum, the time she minimized her needs just to avoid conflict. And the clarity returns steady and grounded. What makes her healing so transformative is the realization that she was never asking for too much. She was asking the wrong person. Once that truth settles in her heart, she stops carrying blame that was never hers. She stops apologizing for wanting respect. She stops over-explaining her worth. She stops trying to prove she deserved love. She understands now that love is not something she should have to beg for. It's something she should receive freely, without fear, without conditions. Then something remarkable happens. She starts attracting better energy, better people, better opportunities. It's not magic, it's alignment. When she learns to love herself again, the world begins to mirror that love back to her. Her confidence becomes a language. Her boundaries become a filter. Her peace becomes a shield. The kind of people who once took advantage of her kindness can no longer reach her because she's no longer operating from a place of needing to be chosen. She knows she can walk away. She knows she can survive. She knows she can thrive. And without even trying, she becomes a different kind of woman. The kind whose strength is quiet, whose heart is steady, whose presence is undeniable. She's not bitter. She's not cold. She's simply awakened. And once a woman awakens, once she realizes she deserves the love she kept giving away, she no longer fears losing anyone. The only thing she fears is losing herself again. That's the turning point. The moment she looks at her reflection and says, "I'm enough." The moment she realizes the love she was searching for in someone else was actually the love she needed to find within herself. The moment she understands that healing doesn't mean forgetting what happened. It means honoring the lesson, remembering the strength, and building a life where her heart is protected, valued, and free. And that is how she learns to love herself again without him. There's a strange thing about life that most people don't realize until they've already crossed a line they can't uncross. When you hurt someone who loved you with pure intentions, when you break the trust of a person who stood by you without conditions, the consequences don't arrive with warnings or sirens. They come quietly, slowly, like echoes returning from a canyon long after the shout has faded. And those echoes aren't always loud at first. They begin as memories, as moments you didn't appreciate, as flashes of the things you took for granted. That's when a man realizes that his actions especially the ones he didn't think twice about, are coming back to him. A man might walk away feeling untouchable, feeling like he made the right choice, feeling like he can replace what he lost. In the beginning, there's no regret. He's too busy convincing himself he's free, too proud to admit he might be wrong, too distracted by noise to hear what's coming. He thinks she'll always be there, that she'll wait, that she'll forgive again, that loving him was some kind of lifelong commitment she signed up for. But eventually life has a way of stripping away illusions. And when it does, he begins to feel the weight of what he did. It starts in quiet moments, driving alone at night, standing in the shower with no music on, sitting on the edge of the bed when the world goes still for a few seconds. The brain is a funny thing. It remembers everything, even the emotions you ignored, even the people you failed. That's when her voice returns, not out loud, but in the memory of how gently she used to speak. That's when her laughter comes back, not in person, but in the ache of realizing he doesn't hear it anymore, and he knows he's the reason he lost it. There is a scientific term for this delayed pain: emotional latency. Studies show that men often process heartbreak much later than women, sometimes months or even years after the relationship ends. While she grieves first and heals later, he avoids the grief until it crashes into him without warning. He thinks avoidance is strength, but all he's doing is postponing the inevitable. And when the inevitable comes, it hits with the full force of everything he ignored. He starts replaying the moments she tried to talk to him, the nights she stayed up waiting for him to come home, the times she asked if something was wrong and he brushed her off. He remembers her saying, "I'm tired," and he thought she meant tired of the day. He never realized she was tired of feeling alone while sitting next to him. He remembers her last attempts to save what they had, the way she still made him coffee in the morning, even when she felt unsupported, the way she still believed in him, even when he didn't give her a reason to. And those memories don't leave him alone. They echo. They echo over and over, becoming louder each time. I've listened to men talk about this regret in real life. It's almost always the same story. She was the best thing that ever happened to me, but I didn't see it. I thought she'd never leave. I thought she'd always forgive me. I didn't know how much she was doing until she stopped. It's heartbreaking because these men aren't bad people. They're careless, they're distracted. They're blind to loyalty until loyalty walks away. They don't value peace until chaos becomes their companion. They don't recognize the gift of a good woman until they're left with people who don't understand them the way she did. The echoes get louder when he meets someone new. At first, there's excitement, novelty, distraction. But soon he notices the differences. She doesn't know his fears the way the other woman did. She doesn't calm him the same way. She doesn't laugh at his jokes with genuine warmth. She doesn't ask how he slept or remind him to take care of himself. He realizes that what he lost wasn't just a partner. It was a safe place, a sense of belonging, a bond that wasn't built overnight. Then he starts to understand what he had, and understanding is the loudest echo of all. Regret is not always dramatic. It's not standing in the rain screaming someone's name. It's quieter, more personal. It happens in those moments when he sees a couple laughing in a cafe and remembers how she used to look at him. When he scrolls through old photos he told himself he deleted but never did. When he hears a song she loved and suddenly the air feels too heavy to breathe. It happens when he sees her moving on, slowly, beautifully, gracefully, without any bitterness. That's when the echo becomes deafening. That's when he realizes the world didn't end for her when he let her down. She rebuilt it. And nothing humbles a man more than seeing the woman he hurt become stronger without him. He starts reevaluating everything, the choices he made, the words he said, the moments when he could have held her closer, listened harder, cared more. He realizes that losing a good woman is not like losing others. She doesn't slam the door. She doesn't throw things. She simply fades like a sunset, beautiful even as it disappears. And by the time he recognizes the beauty, the light is already gone. Life has a way of teaching lessons through absence. People often value silence only after losing the peace behind it. They value loyalty only after meeting inconsistency. They value effort only after experiencing indifference. When she leaves, he doesn't lose just a relationship. He loses the version of himself he was when she believed in him. The echo hits hardest when he notices she has changed. She no longer reaches out. She no longer worries about him. She no longer gives him emotional access. The warmth in her eyes transforms into a quiet resolve. She becomes someone who learned to love herself in the places he left her broken. That's when he finally realizes the truth. She wasn't asking for too much. She was offering more than he ever deserved. And in the end, his actions come back not as punishment, but as clarity. The clarity he avoided. The clarity she found. The clarity that teaches him the price of taking someone's heart for granted. Because the heart he once treated carelessly is now the heart he can no longer reach. And that is the loudest echo of all. There's a moment in every relationship when something quietly shifts, long before anyone says the words out loud. It's not a fight, not a dramatic blow-up, not a slammed door. It's subtler than that. It's the moment when peace, the very center of what held two people together, begins to slip away. And it never disappears all at once. It fades in small, almost invisible ways, like the slow dimming of a light you didn't notice until the room is too dark to see clearly. When a man hurts a good woman, that light, the peace she naturally brings, begins to dim, and the entire relationship feels the loss. Peace is an incredible thing. It's not loud. It's not demanding. It's not flashy. It's the quiet presence that makes two people feel safe with each other. It's the steadiness that comes from trust, from respect, from knowing that no matter how hard life gets, home is a place of refuge. A good woman carries that peace within her. She brings it into conversations, into decisions, into the way she loves. She builds it carefully, gently, like someone tending to a garden. That means everything to her. But when she's hurt, when her heart is bruised by someone she trusted, that peace unravels. It begins with silence, not the comforting kind, but the heavy kind, the kind where she's thinking too much, replaying things too often, wondering how they ended up drifting so far from where they started. She stops humming while cooking. She stops laughing as easily. She pauses before speaking because she's trying to figure out whether her words matter anymore. She feels the energy shifting, the foundation trembling beneath her feet. And even though she doesn't say it yet, she knows something precious is slipping away. When peace leaves a relationship, conversations change. They become shorter, colder, less meaningful. The warmth fades, replaced by tension, misunderstandings, and words spoken too quickly or not spoken at all. Little things, things that never used to matter, suddenly become triggers. A late reply becomes a question mark. A sigh becomes an accusation. A lack of effort becomes a wound. Both people feel the distance growing, but only one of them knows how deeply it cuts. A good woman tries to save the peace even when she's hurting. She gives explanations he doesn't hear. She asks questions he dismisses. She tries to talk through emotions he avoids. She hopes that maybe, just maybe, the peace can return if she just holds on a bit longer. But peace cannot survive in a place where effort is one-sided. It cannot thrive in a home where trust is cracked. It cannot stay when she feels she's fighting alone. When a man hurts her, whether through neglect, betrayal, or emotional absence, he doesn't just hurt her heart. He hurts the atmosphere between them. He disrupts the balance she worked hard to maintain. He turns what once felt like a sanctuary into a space filled with doubt, fear, and unspoken pain. The relationship starts to feel like a battlefield where she's trying to hold up both sides, carrying love and wounds at the same time. I once saw a woman describe it perfectly. She said, "I didn't stop loving him. I just stopped feeling peaceful around him." And that was enough. Because love without peace feels like constantly bracing for impact. It feels like walking on glass. It feels like holding your breath every time you speak, hoping you won't set off something you didn't mean to. A relationship can survive disagreements, mistakes, even seasons of struggle, but it cannot survive the loss of peace. Peace is the quiet heartbeat of a relationship. It's what makes two people choose each other every day. It's what makes apologies genuine, forgiveness possible, and intimacy natural. When that heartbeat weakens, everything else begins to falter. The future feels uncertain. The present feels tense. The past starts to feel like a place she misses because the present no longer reflects it. The hurt becomes visible in her eyes. The sparkle that once drew him in becomes clouded. The softness in her voice becomes guarded. She starts protecting herself, not because she wants to, but because she has to. She's no longer talking from a place of connection, but from a place of survival. She's no longer loving freely. She's loving carefully. And careful love is what happens when someone has been wounded, but is still trying to hold everything together. But peace cannot coexist with fear. It cannot survive where there is inconsistency. It cannot breathe in a home filled with tension. When she senses that the man she loved no longer protects her heart the way he once promised, her soul withdraws, not out of revenge, but out of self-preservation. And when she withdraws, the relationship loses not just peace, it loses direction. He may not notice at first. Many men don't. They confuse her quietness for overthinking, her distance for attitude, her hesitations for drama. They see the symptoms but overlook the cause. They think she's changing when she is only responding. They think she's pulling away when she's simply hurting. They think she's different when she's actually exhausted. But eventually, he feels the loss. It might come during a conversation that suddenly feels empty. It might happen when he reaches for her hand and realizes it doesn't fit the same way it used to. It might hit him when the home, once full of warmth, feels strangely cold, as if something invisible has left the room. That invisible thing is peace. Peace is the soul of a relationship, the unseen glue that holds everything together. Without it, love becomes stressful, communication becomes shaky, and commitment becomes fragile. When he hurts her, he doesn't just damage trust, he disrupts the entire emotional ecosystem. And once peace is gone, it takes everything with safety, intimacy, laughter, hope. Sometimes she tries to rebuild it, but peace cannot be rebuilt alone. It cannot grow in the shadow of repeated hurt. It cannot flourish where effort is unbalanced. Eventually, she stops trying, not because she doesn't care, but because she's learned she cannot carry both of them forever. And in that moment, the relationship finally reveals the truth she felt long before she said it out loud. Without peace, love becomes a memory instead of a future. That's what happens when the center of a relationship is lost. The world between them shifts. The home stops feeling like home. The peace that once made everything feel possible becomes